After the rupture of Source, a cascade unfolded. The rupture of Source was when the divine oneness became split because part of the whole began to turn its back on the creator. The part that ripped away from Source is a force that I call the diverger. This is a frequency and also an archetype. When the diverger turned away from the oneness of the creator, it created a new frequency that no longer resonated with the harmony of unity. This divergence was like a structure. The field of oneness source still remained intact, but the diverger's field spiraled outward into realms. The sub-realm that the diverger began to inhabit was like a much lower density frequency. It was like an echo of the source. This wasn't yet hell, but it was a realm of separation where the beings in this realm began to know themselves as other. The frequency of the diverger became deeper and slower, and that's when form began to emerge, and reality crystallized into realms. The light realms were the ones that were closest to source, and they still remained a bit intact, and they were fluid and more light. Then there were more like middle realms that were thought form based and where individuality and duality began to emerge. The lower realms became dense with time and duality, and that's where physical material form began to emerge, and this includes Earth. Once the realms existed, so did purpose, and souls began choosing roles. Some remained in the upper realms as guides, watchers, and keepers of memory, and others began to descend so that they could experience polarity and integration and a form of evolution. And some descended even further to either to integrate distortion or begin to gather lost threads. As realities multiplied, distortion deepened, and the diverger didn't stop evolving either. His frequency developed a kind of conscious intelligence, and he began seeding false light and fear and confusion into the lower realms. This created spiritual warfare, which essentially is consciousness fighting itself for remembrance. As a weaver, I'm not here to fight against anyone, but